chicken pot pie. I'm going to start with actually raw chicken breast tenderloins. I didn't, you can do this with a rotisserie chicken, and in a later video I'll probably use a rotisserie chicken just to show you that it can be done. But tonight I am actually going to be cooking some chicken breast tenderloins for this dish. So I'm going to start, I just used, you know, my Slap Your Mama. That's my favorite thing. So I'm going to get these seasoned up. And I'm going to go ahead and pre-cook these. And then while the chicken breast tenderloins are cooking, I'm going to chop up my vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in the pot. So I'm going to start by putting some olive oil in here, and the pot is preheating. So once this has preheated all the way, we'll get the chicken breast in. I'm gonna go and grab all of the things I need to get started on cutting the vegetables up, and then I'll be back. Right, so this pan is heated up nicely, so we're gonna go ahead and get our chicken in here so it can start to cook. And like I said, you can use a rotisserie chicken, you can use chicken that you have pre-cooked. I'm going to link below a recipe that I actually used leftover turkey last year. So if you still have turkey left from Thanksgiving, this will be a perfect dish to find something to do with that leftover turkey. So we're going to let this cook on this side for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then I'm going to flip it and cook it on the other side for 4 to 5 minutes. And we're going to keep using this pot. We're going to use the same pot to create the sauce that is going to be in our chicken pot pie. Now tonight's chicken pot pie is a more homemade pie. There are some ways to shortcut this, and I'll definitely show you how to shortcut this in another video. So there is a way to make a pie that I consider semi-homemade. This one is definitely more my homemade option because we are actually going to be making our cream sauce. So we're going to let this cook for a little while, and then we're going to move over and go ahead and start on our veggies. So for the veggies, I'm using 2 medium-sized potatoes. I'm using a stalk of celery. You don't have to use this. I just have it left over from Thanksgiving and I don't want it to go bad. And I'm using about 1/4 of an onion. You can use more onion if you would like to, but I already had this piece kind of that I had been working off of for a couple days. So I'm going to use that, and then I'll just supplement it with onion powder. So while I'm waiting on the chicken, I'm just going to go ahead and chop up the vegetables. So now that we've got everything chopped up, we're going to move it out of the way. And those 2 medium-sized potatoes made a lot of potatoes, y'all. It made a lot of potatoes, so that's good. I did the 1 celery and then that medium onion. So I'm going to move these to the side for now. Oop, don't want to drop them. That would be tragic. And then we're going to move back over here and check on our chicken. Gonna get that flipped over. And for this chicken, I'm pretty much going to cook it all the way through. I'm going to let it get all the way done. And it only takes, like I said, about 10 minutes for this. So I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, just a smidgen, and let that finish. Alright guys, so now that our chicken is done, I'm going to remove it from this skillet and put it back in this bowl. Yes, I washed this bowl, it's clean. It's the same one that I had it in when it was raw, but I washed it while I was waiting on the chicken to get ready. So I'm just going to take it, drop it in the bowl, and then we are going to use this same pan to saute our veggies. So let me scrape up that. And right now I'm just gonna sit it to the side and let it cool a little bit. And if you remember, we cut up the celery, the onion, and the potatoes. So I am going to add these to the pan. And now I'm going to go ahead and cook these for about 10 minutes, basically to give them a head start. I don't want to have to cook my pot pie for too long in the oven. I'm going to cook my pot pie for about 30 to 40 minutes. So if I make sure that everything is nice and already soft before we put it in there, we don't have to cook it that long. And those scrapings that were in the bottom of the pan, I'm just going to scrape those up. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. And while these are starting to cook, I am going to start my seasoning process. So for the pot pie, of course, I'm going to use some black pepper. So I'm going to start with black pepper. And I'm a lover of black pepper. So, you know, you season to your own taste, like I tell you. Alright? We're going to do some garlic powder. And onion powder. And before I forget, I'm going to add in a little bit of minced garlic. So I'm gonna grab some minced garlic and add it down off in here. Probably about a tablespoon worth while I'm sauteing these up. Alright, and I just used that residual oil that was down off in there. I'm going to add some butter, but I'm going to let these get a good little roast on them. So where were we? We added garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper. I'm going to go in with some thyme. Alright. I love the way thyme tastes on chicken. It's just really, really good to me. And I'm going to go in with some rosemary. And then I like thyme and rosemary, so I added some. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Italian seasoning as well, just because the Italian seasoning also has marjoram and oregano in it, basil and sage, and so I don't have to add all of those individually. I just hit it with a little bit of Italian seasoning, and y'all, this smells so good. It smells absolutely delicious. Now, I like a little bit of heat in mine, so I'm going to put just a little bit of cayenne pepper. If you're cooking for children or you don't like that much heat, you can easily omit that. Cayenne pepper is not a requirement. It is not a requirement. So I'm going to let those roast down. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter. This is unsalted butter. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And we are about to start working on that sauce here. Y'all, this smells phenomenal. So I'm also going to add in about 2 cups of chicken broth. And this is not low sodium chicken broth, which is why you didn't see me add in any salt. I am going to reserve the salt until the end. And then if I see where I need it, I will add it in. So if I need a little bit of salt at the end, then I'm going to add it in. But right now, I'm going to let this come back to a boil. And while this kind of heats back up, I'm going to go ahead and start shredding up my chicken. So I'm going to take, and I'm just going to take 2 forks. I'll show you. Take 2 forks and kind of shred it in this motion right here and get it ripped up. And y'all, I'm trying something a little different tonight. I like to do the voiceovers, but I will tell you, I have a full-time job, so I am a teacher. I'm a wife. I'm also launching my other YouTube channel. It's called Nancyology. You should check it out. There you'll get to know me a little bit better because I share vlogs and cleaning videos, and I'm going to be sharing inspirational videos. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my cancer journey, also my infertility journey. So I'll be sharing a lot of me on the Nancyology channel. This channel is really just for cooking. It's just for recipes. But with that being said, going back and having to do the voiceovers, I feel are kind of holding me up from being able to share more content with you guys. And I really want to get out as much content as possible. And so I am toying with doing it this way, where I talk as I'm preparing, in hopes that this will shorten the time down a little bit, and that I can actually put out, you know, 4 or 5 videos a week instead of putting out the 1 or 2 that I am currently putting out. So if you would, just drop down in the comments and tell me if it really matters to you. Like, do you guys like the voiceovers? Does it bother you that you can kind of hear, like, the clinking of these forks? You can kind of hear that, and with the voiceovers you don't hear that. So just tell me what you like. You know, this is, I love cooking, and so this is kind of a stress reliever for me, but these videos are also for y'all. So I want you guys to like what I'm putting out, you know, and so I want them to be what you guys want. So if you would, in the comment section, just talk to me a little bit. Let me know, does it matter? Does it not matter? Do you like the voiceover? Do you like it when I talk to you like this? Because I tend to talk to you just a little bit more when I'm doing it kind of live like this. So I've kind of gotten this chicken shredded up a little bit. There's still a few chunks, but that's going to be fine. Now I'm going to sit this to the side and we're going to start working on our sauce. So here I'm taking a measuring cup and I'm going to add 1.5 cups of milk. All right. I'm going to add 1.5 cups of milk, about 2 tablespoons or so of flour. And this is going to help thicken up our sauce. If you want, you are more than welcome to use heavy cream. You can use heavy cream. Should have used a whisk, but this fork will get the trick done eventually. I'm sorry for the noise, guys. So now I'm going to take that flour mixture I was working on and I'm just going to pour it into my pan here. And don't worry about those little flour pieces. They'll dissolve as I stir it. It'll dissolve really nicely. And as we work with this, it'll start to thicken up. Wipe that up a little bit. Now we're gonna go ahead and put in our frozen peas and carrots. I just use the little Walmart steamable peas and carrots, and I'm not gonna even steam them right now because they're gonna start cooking a little bit in here. So that's what I use. And this is a 12-ounce bag. So this is a 12-ounce bag, and I'm just going to dump that whole bag over in there. right, so at this stage, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my chicken back in. And this chicken was just seasoned with a little bit of Slap Your Mama. And I'm gonna let all of this start to marry back together. And just to make sure I have enough liquid, I like my chicken pot pie kind of liquidy. Just a little bit, especially in the initial stages. So I'm gonna add a little bit more chicken broth. Because I'm just going to let it simmer here while I work on those pie crusts. Also, I did a little taste test and I do think that it needs some salt. So I am just going to take some table salt and shake that in there. And then, you know, potatoes use a lot of salt. So the fact that the potatoes are in here and the fact that we haven't used salt, the only two things that have had salt up until this point is the chicken that I used with the Slap Your Mama, and then the actual chicken broth, because the chicken broth is not a low sodium chicken broth. It is the Members Mark chicken broth that you get at Sam's Club. So I'm going to stir that, and I'm going to give the sauce just another little taste here and see if I'm happy with where the salt content is now. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna add just a little bit more Slap Your Mama to this. And now, as my mama says, we are cooking with gas. I wish I was cooking with gas. Y'all, my next house is gonna have to have a gas stove. I've already told Tater Bud that. So yeah, it's gonna have to have a gas stove. I grew up cooking on gas. Do you prefer gas or electric? For anybody that has cooked on both of them, I'm just wondering. Like, I've gotten used to the whole electric thing, but I still prefer gas. So I'm going to let this simmer, and we're going to get our pie crust here. Now this is where I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna tell you, the pie crust is where I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I am using store-bought crust. I wasn't about that make your pie crust life tonight. It's late on a Monday. And we traveled a lot for Thanksgiving. We went to Texas and we drove. So we got back really late last night, and then I had to get up and work today. So I'm tired, but I wanted something nice and hearty. So I wanted pot pie. All right, so we're gonna let that simmer and then get our pie crust ready here. Okay, y'all, so I don't have a 9-inch round baking dish. All of my baking dishes are square, but you know what I do have? I do have a 10-inch cast iron skillet. So we are actually going to be cooking our pot pie in the large cast iron skillet, and I absolutely love these. If you are looking for some that are good but don't break the bank, large is a really good option. I'm going to put some links down in the bottom for you if you want to kind of check them out and get a look at them. I'm going to put some links at the bottom of this video. So these are the pie crusts we're using here. The Pillsbury, I'm gonna lift it up. I accidentally accidentally hit the button when I was trying to show you this. So I'm using the Pillsbury pie crust, and they're the ones that come 2 in the box. You can just get them in the refrigerator section. So I'm gonna open it up. And because of how this is prepared, you really don't even have to do anything. You just pop them out. So it's already rolled out for you. So you just pop it out. And it's already floured and all of that. So I am just gonna take it and lay it down off in this skillet. Off in here and just get it pressed down real good. And y'all, I wasn't even in focus. I didn't even show you. So I just laid it down off in there. I'm sorry that I missed that. It's one of the things about trying to talk and do all of that at the same time. So now that we have our pie crust, and I don't cook my bottom crust before I put the stuff in there. I'm going to cook it long enough that the bottom crust gets nice and flaky. So now, just gonna slide this over, and I am going to take my ladle and start to ladle all of that pot pie goodness in here. Oh yeah. This is gonna be so good. Y'all, this is perfect for a cold night. Like, all of a sudden here in Alabama, it just got really, really cold. Like, and it started getting cold a couple weeks ago, and then it kind of like fooled us and warmed back up. But today the high was like 45. So I think it's fair to say we are officially in winter. And like, when this cooks, it's gonna thicken up some more. Ooh, ooh. And if you like your pie a little bit thicker, then you can add less chicken broth. If you want this consistency right here, then you can just add the same amount of chicken broth that I did. And I used almost that whole thing, and I don't want this to boil over. So I'm going to stop right there. There's a little bit left in here and some chicken. I don't want to leave the chicken. I can just use, so there's just a little bit left. Let's see, can I show you? Not much. I'm actually afraid that I might have put just a little too much in here, so I'm gonna take a smidgen of that out. I don't want to mess in the bottom of my stove. So now I just take the other pie crust struggling to get it out. Hold on. So I'm gonna take the other pie crust and unroll it. Try to keep it pretty because it's the top one. Alright. So we're gonna get it unrolled, and then we're gonna get it laid on top. I think I might have just pushed some of that out of there. And since it goes over the side, I'm just gonna take it and kind of roll it over. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna roll it over here. Not trying to make it too pretty. We're just trying to get all of that goodness in there and seal all of that goodness in there. And y'all, I do think that this may boil over a little bit. So I'm gonna put a pan up under it. I think I may have filled it up just a little too much. But you know, it is what it is. Alright. So we have that in there. And for venting purposes, we're just gonna add a few holes. Let's see, make a cute little design here. So we're gonna add just a few little holes for it to vent as it cooks. Now, at this stage right here, I'm not going to add anything to the top. As it gets closer to being done, I'm gonna take some melted butter and brush on the top. Some people like egg wash. I prefer to use melted butter, but I'm going to do it once it gets closer to being done. So I'm gonna sit this in the oven. I am going to set my timer to about an hour or so, because I want to make sure that crust underneath gets nice and flaky. So we are going to open this up. I'm gonna sit a pan up under it. Because I don't want it to mess up my oven if it bakes over. And then we are gonna get this bad boy in the oven. So pot is in the oven. I'm gonna set the timer on about an hour. I'm gonna run, do a little housework, probably do a load of laundry, and then we'll come back in an hour and check it. All right, see you guys, bye. So I don't know about y'all, but I love chicken pot pie. So I am going to kind of cut into it. Ooh, it's so flaky. Yeah, buddy. And pick it up a little bit. So there. And I told you like the juices wasn't gonna be too much for it. Some of them are kind of seeping out into it. It looks so good. So good. I'm going to try to give y'all a little peek over into it. Oh yeah. That's a pot pie right there, buddy. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank y'all for joining me. This is very, very quick, very, very easy. And I hope you make it. And if you do, remember, drop down in the comment section. Let me know how you liked it and everything. And until next time, bye neighbors.